Hi, I'm Devin, and I'm here to introduce myself and my channel and kind of what I'm hoping to accomplish in a sense. I am still kind of beginner level, so why am I doing a YouTube channel? Well, it's because I see a lot of reviews and a lot of tips and stuff like that on YouTube done by a lot of pros or people that have been riding for a really long time, which is awesome. I mean, it's great to get advice from people who are experienced and stuff, but then I don't know, I see some things, like especially one thing that kind of gave me this idea was watching advanced skaters do reviews of beginner completes, even like Walmart boards, Target boards, stuff like that. And they're doing all these crazy tricks on them, which is, I understand that they're kind of showing you how, once you progress, like the kinds of tricks that and how you'd be able to do them on the board, how they would look or feel, and if it's going to be a good enough board for you to get to that level. But I don't know, I guess watching those I was kind of wondering, do these people that have been riding for so long, have they rode for so long that they have forgotten what it feels like to be at the beginner level? Because sometimes when I'm looking at those, I'm kind of more interested in like if I'm looking for a complete for myself or something like that, let's say, and I'm looking at these reviews, I'm going to be more interested in, does it feel good riding, and is it going to, like, affect my just pushing, riding, stuff like that. Not as interested in, oh, does it tray flip over 3 stairs sort of thing. And I don't know, I just got the idea of maybe there'd be some people out there too that would be interested in how a beginner or somebody that's beginner level still, how they would I guess react to certain gear and stuff like that. And there's also a lot of tips, tricks, and information that I wish that I would have known before I even started getting my own gear and stuff like that. So I want to share that with people as best as I can. Figure that I'd make this introductory video. So I say I'm beginner level. Technically, I mean, yeah, I'd say I'm a beginner, but I did skateboard when I was in middle school through like maybe freshman year of high school. I never really did many tricks though. I got good at riding very well, and I was able to do manuals, and I was able to do, I don't know if they're called coconut manuals, but it's like when you just lean forward on your skateboard, so then you're like the side two wheels you're rolling on. If that makes sense. Instead of like the back two wheels or the front two wheels, it's like the side two wheels. I've seen people call that a coconut manual, but then I've also seen people call coconut manuals that are as basically primo slides, where like you get in a primo and kind of slide that way, but you're like kind of on your wheel. So I don't know if it's technically coconut manuals, but I used to be able to do stuff like that. Then after like 10 years, I got back into skateboarding and tried to actually seriously start learning. So I've yet to land my first ollie that's not with skater trainers. For some reason, I'm having a hard time committing to that, but I'm definitely a lot better at riding finally now. At first, getting back into skateboarding, pushing, and stuff like that, I was a lot worse than what I was back then. Now I'm starting to get a lot better, and I'm feeling really comfortable on the board, and yeah, I want to start really learning tricks this time around. The reason why I gave up back then was because I had a Walmart board, an Amazing Spider-Man Walmart board. Not Amazing Spider-Man, the movie, because I think that was long before that movie even came out anyway. About like comic book Amazing Spider-Man graphic deck from Walmart. And I tried learning ollies, and back then there wasn't really a lot of good tutorials that I saw on the internet or anything like that, videos. It was all about trying to find tutorials in a magazine like Thrasher or something like that, and hope to God that you can follow along with the written instructions and stuff, or like a book from the library. I'm pretty sure that's actually what I was reading. I think I found a book in the library, and it didn't have like any pictures. I could also be misremembering that. I really don't remember. I just remember trying to learn an ollie, and within the first couple days, I broke my board, and I knew that if I was going to get anywhere in skateboarding, like anywhere in like learning tricks and stuff like that, I'd have to shell out the money for like a real board, and I just didn't have that kind of money. And the only thing the only way I'd get another skateboard is if I got another Walmart board, and that's kind of why I gave up, because I'm like, yeah, this guess I'm just not cut out for skateboarding. I just don't have the money and I don't have the equipment. But then, yeah, over a decade later, I decided, you know what? I've always wanted to get back into skateboarding. Finally have enough of my own income to be able to get the gear. Went out and got a real board. Started. This was about a year ago now that I started getting back into skateboarding. It's been really fun. The only problem is I work a full-time job. Sometimes I work overtime. I also live in the northeast of the United States, so sometimes in the summer we get really rainy summers, and then sometimes in the summers when it's not raining, it's just so hot and humid that if you even think about moving, you will die. Don't get to skate nearly as much as I'd like to, hence therefore still don't have a lot of tricks that I really wish I did. Then we also have harsh winters, and where I live, there's no indoor skate parks unless I want to drive 3 hours. And then when I get to the indoor skate park and then I see a lot of people there that are a lot better than me, I kind of get a little bit intimidated. Not really that I feel like I don't think I'm going to be bullied or made fun of for being a beginner there. I'm more or less like, I just don't want to get in anybody's way, try to push across the skate park, but my pushing still isn't really that great, at least this was last winter. Pushing isn't so great, so I might not be able to push fast enough to the other side, and before I know it, I might get slammed by somebody trying to like do actual tricks and stuff like that, so I don't know. I also just don't do well in crowds, so that probably doesn't help, but but yeah, I think while I'm doing this introduction, I will go over couple things. I have a toolbox that I've got for like skateboard setups. No, you might be thinking you're a beginner. You've only been skating again seriously for about a year, maybe a little over a year. Why would you need to have that yet? Especially if you're not doing a lot of things. Well, first off, it's just really fun to set up boards. I really like setting up. I just really like that aspect of skateboarding for one thing, which like, you know, I also no, I should take it easy, not like just not have a bunch of like a million setups all at once and stuff like that. But another thing too is that there have been a couple of different gear that I've wanted to try out because thinking maybe it'll help improve some things in some ways that I'm trying, or just be more comfortable or something like that. For an example, the first skateboard that I got when I got back into skateboarding was an all blind complete. I got at a mall I think it was in a Vans shop. Vans shoes. You know, of course, not really having anything else to compare it to when I first was riding on it, I thought it was fine. You know, didn't really notice much. But then, for one thing, I wanted a wider board to begin with, but the only good complete that they really had at the time that was within a good budget, because I really didn't want to spend a ton of money on my first complete. So, like, the only thing they really had with a good price was an 8.0. So, and that was the blind deck. I think the only other complete that was like within like the same budget, I think was like a 775 or something like that. I don't have huge feet. I'm like, depending on the shoe company, I wear like size 11 to 11 and a half. But I mean, still, I'm also a pretty big guy as well. I just kind of wanted a wider deck to have more to stand on, really, and hopefully help my balance. So while I was riding that for a little bit, I did want to upgrade to a wider deck, so I ended up finding a deck on metalskateboards.com that was Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like stuff like that. I think it was a Ben Rayborn Pro model. I just really liked that it had Texas Chainsaw Massacre on it, really. Like, I love horror stuff, so, and that was an 8.375, so I was like, perfect. That's a wider deck. Got that. Got a bunch of stuff. Components, you know, like I went with like a horror and metal music theme because I got independent trucks forged hollow that have the Slayer logo on them. I think they're stage 11 forged hollow trucks, black trucks with a white Slayer logo. And then I got Iron Maiden grip tape from Mob. And it was the Killers album cover, like, graphic. And I got, like, these Bones Street Park Formula wheels that have, like, this, it looks like a creature from the Black Lagoon coming out of, like, a swimming pool. And Bones Red's bearings, just because a lot of the people I watch on YouTube and stuff like that skate, that's what they ride. So I was like, must be pretty good. The Slayer independent hardware, red and black. I think it actually came with my trucks, actually. that I got. So got that, rode that around. I really liked that setup a lot. I ended up retiring it before it got like too worn out because I found out because it was the egg shape Texas Chainsaw Massacre board, and I found out like since it's been discontinued and stuff like that, people are like reselling it for like $300 and stuff like that. I'm like, I'm gonna keep this for a decoration board now. But yeah, I really liked that setup. When I went back to the blind setup, I didn't really like it all that much. There was something about it, didn't feel all that great, didn't feel very stable. In like a way, like it's almost like I felt all the vibrations, even though like the wheels weren't really that much different from the wheels on my Texas Chainsaw Massacre board. I had a feeling like it wasn't like the width of the board that made it feel unstable. It was more of like the quality of some or all of the parts or something like that. And I think I found out that those blind completes, like especially those specific ones, kind of made very cheap quality. So like the wood material isn't like maple or something like that. It or doesn't have as good of like a epoxy resin glue or something like that, where like the board is not a very good quality, like the deck itself, which is why it felt so weird. I had switched out the wheels and the bearings, and it was a little bit better, but it wasn't that much better, if that makes any sense. So I don't know. Because of that, kind of made me want to try other kinds of gear, because they made me want to try different wheels and stuff like that. And then I don't know. Then later I heard people swearing by low trucks because it helps them pop easier and stuff like that. Thought maybe that will help with learning ollies and stuff like that. I'm kind of getting a little ahead of myself now, I think, but let me just go over what's in my toolbox for setting up boards. So this thing might be a little overkill, but also another thing too is that I know that I'm going to be sticking with skateboarding for a while now. Like I don't think I'm going to be really ever stopping. It's just so much fun. I never lost interest in skateboarding ever since, I tried it back in middle school. In fact, actually, even long before then, I was always interested in skateboarding. I don't remember which one was first, but I remember my brother and I, when we were kids, little kids, always watching X Games and stuff like that on MTV, loving, like, all the skateboard, like, anytime there was people skateboarding on TV, we were glued to the TV. And then also playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater on the PlayStation 1, and then later all the other Tony Hawk's Pro Skater games. They've always been one of my favorite video game series. Played that with my brother a lot too. Like I said, I don't remember which one was first. If we were watching the X Games first, or we were playing the video games or something like that. But between those two, that's what got me really interested in skateboarding, as long as I can remember, really. But then, like, when I was a kid, like, really little, I didn't think I'd actually have the coordination to do it. But then, like I said, middle school, got a Walmart board, tried it out. It was a lot of fun until I broke the board. And I've always still played the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater games, even after I stopped skateboarding that first time around. Loved watching videos of people skateboarding. Yeah. So I think it's good to have this setup toolbox, even if I'm not going to use it a ton right now, kind of hoarding some stuff so when I ever do need to set up a board. But so on the bottom of it, I've got a lot of grip tape. These two things of grip tape actually came with a couple of Revive boards I got because they were on sale, so I got them for spares. And then a thing of Mob grip tape, which I got in a skate shop before I even had those, just so I'd have a spare thing of grip tape. This is actually Gecko non-abrasive grip tape because it came in a Braille mystery box I got. Don't know when I'll use it, but I'm sure I will try it out eventually. Probably after I actually have like ollies and stuff so I can really test it out. Speaking of Revive, these are also on sale, so I got these to try out at some point. Force conical wheels. They are 53mm, and I think they're 99A, but it doesn't actually say. These are actually the Slayer trucks, and that's the wheels, the creature from the Black Lagoon wheels. So funny thing too is I actually also found out when I retired that Texas Chainsaw Massacre board, I thought I got these in the size for an 825 to 8.375 because the deck was 8.375. No, it turns out I messed up and these are for 8.0s. I thought that the board kind of stuck out from the wheels, you know what I mean? Further than the wheels. And I just thought it was that like 0.175 difference between the width of an 8.25 or something like that. I'm like, at first I was like, that just seems really exaggerated, but then I just kind of accepted it. Yeah, no, that's because it was the 0.375 inches difference between an 8.0 and yeah. I don't know how I did that. Must have just not read the size chart right or something like that. I actually have a 8.0 deck coming in the mail from Braille. I want to put these bad boys on. Speaking of Braille, I got Braille branded mini logo wheels with Braille bearings inside. I did try these out with my blind deck before I retired that deck. And the wheels are good. You know, there's nothing wrong with them. They're 53 millimeters and 101A. So they're a little hard. You know, if you're on concrete and stuff like that, you're definitely going to feel all the stuff underneath you. For some reason, I don't know if like I got bad bearings or something like that, but they really don't. Of course, I'm doing this between my fingers instead of like on a pair of trucks, but like, I don't know, they don't really roll very long before they stop when you do that. I don't know, they just, the bearings are one of those bearings that, they let your skateboard roll. Once you have all your weight on the skateboard, you know, if you're not trying to do anything too crazy, I guess it's not really much of a difference between anything else, but, in comparison to Bones Reds, which are a little bit cheaper, Bones Reds just seem to go a lot faster and spin for longer. I might test the Braille bearings out more, maybe get a different pair or a set down the road just to see if I just got a weird set, or maybe I'll clean them or put some speed cream in them or something like that. Do something to see if it's just user error or something like that, but for now, they're just a spare set of wheels and bearings. I got this organizer thing full of hardware. Just about all of these sets of hardware are independent hardware. Not for any real reason, just because I got different pretty colors. Like, there's one set that's all shiny red bolts except for 2 black bolts. One that's all black bolts but 2 shiny red bolts. A set of black bolts with 2 gold bolts. Same with a set of black bolts with 2 silver bolts. A set of just black bolts. And then a set of all blue bolts except for 2 black bolts. Then I got Revive life bolts that are like rainbow colored. And then there's some, so you got like the red, blue, gold, stuff like that. Those are the ones right here, are the rainbow colored ones. I also have some bearing spacers that came with the Slayer trucks I got, and the Slayer trucks also had these spare speed rings. So I got those in a little baggie so they don't fly all around the place. But yeah, definitely something that's good to have, spare ones of those, because I've already almost lost a couple. Funny thing is, all on the blind complete every time I was switching out wheels and trying wheels out. There's always at least 2 speed rings that wanted to drop and I almost lost. And then in the top compartment of the toolbox, to start with, I got a pack of stickers, so you know, if there's ever like a deck that I want to slap a bunch of stickers on, boom, got a bunch of stickers. There's even more stickers underneath there, and in another place too, in this top. So got this metal tray, you know, for putting the bolts in while I'm putting together stuff so I don't lose the bolts. This was the first T-tool that I had. It's a Bona brand. It's got a ratchet, which is really awesome. It's got a file on the top. It's got a detachable screwdriver, Phillips head, which is a pain in the ass to get out. Like, it hurts my fingers trying to pull it out each time. Usually end up having to get something like usually I have to take one of these independent keychain tool thingies that come with some sets of hardware. I have like 3 of these things now. Kind of have to use those to pry it out. That's not really like a very convenient thing. If you want like a T-tool, you definitely want to be able to just take out the screwdriver quick and easily. It's got that for the tightening on the bolts, then this thing that goes inside of it for Allen key hardware. It does have a rethreader, which is, you know, really cool. And then there's, I really don't know what this thing is used for. It's kind of like circular. And then that goes into the ratchet part. Don't know what you'd have to use that for, but at least it's in there in case you do have to use it. It's not a bad T-tool. It would be a lot better if that screwdriver came out a lot easier. The handle though is kind of like this weird plastic. It has some weight to it, but like still doesn't feel like highest of quality, which is why I ended up getting the silver T-tool. Feels like it's much better quality. It's like all metal and everything like that. The ratchet feels a lot better. Like it's, when you're tightening it, it's so much better than the boner one. The file is also like wider and like nicer. And also, if anybody doesn't know watching this, the file is really good for scoring the grip tape, because you get like a rectangular grip tape. You gotta scrape the edges of the board so you get the outline on the grip tape so you know where to cut. So the silver T-tool doesn't have the Allen key attachment thing that goes in the ratchet, or the circular one, and it also doesn't have the rethreader tool. And also it has a Phillips head screwdriver that's also a pain in the ass to get out. I don't know what's up with that. They want you to be in pain. So I think it's pretty good that I have both of these tools, because like I said, the Bona tool has some extra things this doesn't have, but this one, the stuff that it does have, are just of much better quality. Definitely this has the stuff that I'm going to be using the most. I do recommend the silver tool, but I also recommend either taking out this screwdriver and never putting it back in here, keeping it separate somehow, or just using a separate Phillips head screwdriver, unfortunately. I just kind of threw this in here just cause, but I got an extra set of shoelaces in here. Really should probably be in with my backpack that I take with me skateboarding, but well, I just threw it in here. I do have another spare set of Vans shoelaces. They're purple instead of black. I don't know why I don't put that one in my backpack, or one of them in my back. One of them. I got a spare pack of reds just in case there's ever a time I break one, or if I feel like setting up a new board and not retiring one of my other boards. I have this Bones bearing tool. So as you can see, it is very small, but it's awesome. It's got this little button on the top, which I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but it kind of, those little ball things kind of like go in and out when you do that. Just makes it easier. So say if you hold down the button, then you can slide it right into a bearing. You can either pull it out of a wheel a lot easier, or if the bearing's not already in a wheel, use the bearing to push it down. It's a lot better in my opinion than using your entire body weight to put like a bearing in the truck on your deck, push the wheel on top to get it in. And also using this, you don't run the risk of messing up the threading on your trucks or anything like that, especially for pulling out bearings, because some people use the truck as like leverage to say like, this is the truck, you know, this is the where the threading is, and they'll put it diagonally, then, you know, use it as leverage. Probably doesn't really matter that much in the long run, because after a while of seriously skating, you're gonna be going through trucks anyway, at least to an extent. Either way, this is just a good tool. I mean, it's really not that expensive. Maybe a little gimmicky, but I mean at the same time, you get this for what, 10 bucks, 15 bucks, versus like getting like a whole tabletop bearing press that's like 70 bucks. It's not really a good reason to have that unless you're setting up 500 boards a day or something like that. If you're like a company, I guess that would make more sense. But like as a single skater, you're not really gonna need that, especially when you can just get this instead. Speaking of kind of gimmicky products that are actually really awesome. Mob Grip Roller. This thing looks like a skateboard wheel. I mean, the whole thing looks awesome for one thing. I love the green, and I love the way that the roller part looks. Like, if that was an actual skate wheel, I wouldn't mind rocking it, really. It's got a good weight to it, so it feels like it's really good quality. The handle's really comfortable to hold, and really, especially if you got really grippy grip, like Mob, after a while of flattening the grip with your bare hands and scraping up your hands, it gets old quick. I like being able to just kind of like pat the middle of it and then just start rolling from the inside out with this, you know. Feels a lot better. Feels a lot, you know, cooler, I guess. And don't hurt your hands. So one of those things, I actually got it more or less to fill out an order from some website. I needed to get free shipping or else the shipping was going to be kind of... So it's like I could either add this, get free shipping, or like pay the price of like 3 of these for shipping. It was probably more like pay the price of 1 of these for shipping. I mean, I don't know. Either way, I wanted to get free shipping. I thought, no, this will be cool to try out. Ended up actually really loving it. Really glad I did that. So, speaking of which, I got Bone Speed Cream. I mean, I haven't used it yet, but I figured it'd be a good thing to have on hand. Next thing I really want to get for my toolbox that I don't really need anytime soon, but I want it at some point, just so I do have it for the future, is a bearing cleaning unit. I know like the Bones bearing cleaning unit is only like $15, so I'll probably get that at some point soon. Speaking of Phillips head screwdrivers, I got this thing, and it's got detachable bits just to keep it all together. I put all the bits that it comes with in the toolbox with it, even though probably none of these will ever be used for skateboarding, but like I said, just to keep it all together with its respective tool instead of trying to pull out those screwdrivers, you know, from the T-tools. But yeah, that is everything in my toolbox. Maybe that will give some inspiration to other people who are either thinking about making a toolbox for their skateboard setup stuff, or hadn't thought of that idea before but now have that idea and think that's a good idea. I know a lot of skaters that just kind of have like a minimal, just use whatever they have on hand. I like building kits like that, I guess. So I was going to go over my current board setups, but I feel like this video's gone on long enough, so maybe I'll make another video of that. Also, my camera is getting low on battery, and I'm getting tired. I came home from work, did this to try out my new camera and everything like that. It is 4 o'clock in the morning because I work night shift, so I want to go to bed soon. I hope people have enjoyed this video, and I'm gonna try to start making more videos. Maybe make some review stuff, film me and my friend progressing. Probably see some videos with me and him at our local skate park. Our local skate park is like the smallest slab of concrete with like a few obstacles. But probably do a review video of that, so look out for that. And anybody out there that's either just starting to skateboard or have skateboarded for a long time and for some reason watching a beginner make videos, just shred on.